army of baby chickens. So I apologize, you guys, if you can hear that. It might be kind of annoying to some, but yeah, dude, I literally have 40 chickens downstairs. So this is just a today problem. Hopefully after today's call, we can figure out where to put them all. So yeah,
dude, that's crazy. You're live
it's
from the farm, dude.
therapeutic, to be honest. Yeah, dude. When you're this close, not really, but I don't know, man. I do like my chickens, so raising a whole new generation of them as we speak. But yeah, this is day one. Real life version of Rovi's, basically. Some real life companions that are just very annoying,
Can you imagine if Rovi's like squeak like that, dude? Just randomly?
Like all day long?
Yeah,
like uncontrollably?
Long?
You have like, even if you feed them and like giving them water and like, give them pets from time to time, they still do it. Yeah. That would get annoying. For sure. I think everyone's stance on what's it called? Disassembling of Rovi's would change if that were the case,
Dismantling, yeah.
Dismantling, there you go. But yeah, we don't intend to make Rovi's as, annoying as real life chickens. That would ruin the whole damn mojo.
Yeah. You'd find like droplings, like digital droppings in Decentraland to clean up.
Yeah, I mean there's a time and place for that too. I mean, who's to say somebody doesn't make some kind of PFP project with chickens? Actually, there are PFP projects with chickens, and they're doing very well. So, who's to say we won't all have our own chicken farm at some point in the future? I'm more than open to it.
Sure. All right. So, welcome back, everybody. We got the original, back in action. Iman and myself. A couple of things have occurred recently. I mean, you and I were discussing something with Disney earlier today that took, I don't know, a good about 2 hours of like going back and forth. And of course, you and I, notoriously, we disagree on a lot of things, which is part of, I don't know, I guess a good thing. Because if we agreed on everything, it'd be kind of boring. But we'll be talking about that. Of course, we got the good old Pope. For those of you who come for the Popes, we're here to satisfy. And then we have, of course, a giveaway that we're going to be doing towards the end of the call. So Iman, let's first talk about like some of the updates, some of the stuff that we're working on last week, this week. So first thing is WebSocket servers. So I guess if you guys go, well, right now we're live in Decentraland, by the way. If you guys go to the tower at 61-27, and let me share the link, you will be able to see us live here. And, okay, there we go. And we're also live on YouTube, Iman. So it looks like everything is working. So yeah, head up to the very top of the tower, and there is this hologram that you're going to see. I don't think it's working just yet. I mean, we're like inches away from it actually working, because as you can see, let me kind of zoom in here. There are multiple of these instances showing up, which indicates to me that it's telling me that there's multiple connections happening. Iman, you can't see what I'm doing, so let me share my screen.
No, but I got a hunch. Yeah,
there we go.
Okay, now I see. Actually, yeah, I'm up there, dude. I'm coming.
Yeah, so yeah, you're seeing multiple instances of this Rovi hologram, which I don't know, just context clues tells me that there's multiple connections happening. And then I guess maybe if we're lucky, maybe we'll be able to see our respective Rovis kind of spawn in and then actually share that experience. So let's see if Oscar can pull some magic here.
Yeah, this is leading into the whole thing we've been hyping for so long. The shared experience of the metaverse, right? Which is so rare these days. It's so complicated. It's taken us, a couple of weeks to, I guess, get all the freaking wires connected. So it might take us even a little bit more time. Hopefully not, but there's a big reason, as we discussed in the past, how important this stuff is, because the shareable experience is everything. It's foundational to like any kind of player versus player, experience. So let's hope and pray we get some shareable action here. That way we can get some cool, action shots. Everybody standing by their Rovies.
Yeah, no pressure, Oscar.
No pressure at all. Because even if we don't, we can activate the Testers Guild after the call, and we can all reorganize and test the actual, finished version of this very critical update.
Yeah, but like I said, there's something actually happening here with these multiple holograms. So here's the challenge: is once we're able to kind of gather to the top of this tower, each one of us have a Rovi. So the challenge is going to be, which one do we show? Is it so that means there's got to be a UI for this, and so you got to be able to select which Rovi you want to be able to show, and then kind of flex on everybody. Like for example, Trey Waters has an almost perfect Rovi, so that's likely going to be the one that he's going to be showing off. But Trey, just like many of us, have multiple Rovis. And so when it comes to this particular hologram meta, you want to be able to show one over the other. So there's got to be a UI to that. So that is obviously going to be coming. But for now, if we do get this working today, it's just going to pick, a random Rovi, and then you should see it. Everyone should see it, actually. So then the next challenge is, okay, now that we load in our preferred Rovi, what's the position relative to each other? Like, is it going to be lined up? Is it going to spawn next to us? So that's another challenge that we gotta solve here. But yeah, this is day one of solving all those problems. Okay, so let me kind of position myself here. There we are. So Bob Lorian is saying, I'm seeing 2 holograms. Each one is a Rovi. No, I think what you're seeing is that shared experience, and right now, the current code is just picking up multiple connections. So there's many of us here, and I'm seeing multiples of these Rovi holograms. So yeah, I think it's just showing everybody's hologram instance here in a single location.
All right, well, that the drill, lads. Pile in. Let's see if we can break the hologram.
Yeah, take it down. Okay.
So that's pretty cool. It means, yeah, this is a representation of the shared elements of the WebSocket backend. So we're almost there. I think it's just being applied to the wrong thing, most likely, as of right now.
Yeah.
And so some small tweaks, and then, yeah, instead of us seeing a shat ton of Rovi holograms spinning in place, it's just going to be all of our Rovis deployed, all in unison, right?
For sure. Yeah, and Oscar will give us an update. If it's ready, he'll ping the server, and then you guys can jump in and test it out. But for now, this is the earliest of beginnings. And I'm curious, a question for everyone in the community is is it beneficial to see all these little underworkings, the small steps of many in order to get a meta working, or this particular meta working? Is that interesting to you guys, or do you rather just come and see just nearly complete updates, or what is it? So Trey Waters is saying yes. Everybody wants, or Trey Waters wants to see the baby steps into this larger goal.
I do too. I'm all here for it, man. Every little inch of progress is notable.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it's just not leveraged by the majority of development in the world. I don't know if it's for intellectual property protection cases, right? A lot of maybe major companies, they don't want to document these incremental steps of progression and make that public. Maybe that's some sort of security or vulnerability type thing.
Yeah. I don't know. When we started the podcast, I think that was sort of an unintended value that we can kind of go back into history and kind of look back as to, all the progress we made, the predictions that we made. Some of them have come true, some of them were not true. Thank you, Bitcoin. So I think that's a good thing to be able to show like all these little baby steps. But yeah, I was just curious to see if others sort of had the same like interpretation of value or not. But looks like some of you do. Alan Howick says he likes a little bit of mystery. Okay, cool.
I mean, that's important to note too. Like a lot of mystery definitely sells. Like,
yeah,
we know it does, right? Like you could literally post, we could have probably just like not showed any of this to you guys, and we show like this GIF of like a bunch of holograms spinning in place.
Yeah.
Like, what the deuce is happening to the hologram? Like, that's the tweet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Introduce some mystery into the lore, and now everybody's like anticipating, oh shit, something's coming, right? That is a widely leveraged like tactic, especially in the crypto realm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To just generate hype. But historically, those type of tactics usually end up disappointing. Like whenever you try to like overhype things, if you guys are seasoned like crypto veterans, you know this, dude. It's always like buy the rumor, sell the news type thing.
Yeah.
Like the rumor is always way more sexy and attractive than the actual like news.
Yeah.
Right. And it's usually like a catalyst for like disappointment. So
yeah, we actually. I was gonna say, Iron Man. We actually recorded that the rumor / news type of a scenario. What happened with EOS? Remember, EOS was putting up this huge live event, and we recorded on the podcast. And we were there, I think, waiting for like, I don't know, almost an hour, and then it finally went live. And like the whole live event lasted like 15 minutes, and all they showed was a competitor to Twitter called Voice. And
no, even worse than that, like they spent like a month or so hyping up this event, and like during the event, like they announced like a delay of like what it is they were going to like announce.
Oh, really?
I remember those days vividly, man. Like it's better just to have full, in our opinion, just to have full transparency along the way, even if there's like hiccups. And it's like, I don't know, I guess like some projects they fear the feeling of what's the
backlash?
Yeah, like people want to hide like their failures, even though like failures is like it's a part of success, right? Like to achieve success is like a lot of little miniature failures along the way, right?
Yeah,
I think.
Oh, so, for sure, 100%.
People don't like to showcase those little miniature failures. They like to hide them and sweep them under the rug and paint this image of like only success, right? Like that is a faulty image. It's not like a representation of reality.
Yeah.
So people have like a skewed perception of like, what's real.
For sure.
So that's not you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a good point. And so Neb is saying it's like Grimes' event in DCO was a way better as a concept. So Grimes had an event in DCO? Totally missed that.
That's news to us. Holy shit. What the hell, dude? We're still out of the loop. Yeah.
Okay. Says Alan Howell, you guys do a good job keeping us informed, in my opinion. I appreciate it. Yeah, so ultimately I think, we have a lot to say about what's happening in the metaverse, and we're putting our money where our mouth is too, and like not only just talking about predictions of how things are going to work and what is going to end up working, but we actually like to implement them. And so Iman and I, while he was here during our work together time, we were talking about this thing here. Actually, let me position the camera here. We're talking about Disney. So I know you guys have read this, probably this article, because it was a shotgun all over Twitter. But it's called 2D to Web 3. Disney is working on a metaverse game plan. So not a whole lot of substance in this article, other than that they're trying to figure out kind of like the best path. But they, like everybody else, like Zuckerberg and all of us here on the call, they agree that the transition to like a 2D existence on the internet is going to be turning into 3D through this idea called the metaverse. And so what they're doing is they said that they have a 3D, sort of like a 3D in real life experience with their theme parks and everything. And so what they want to do, at least conceptually, is tie the real life experience with some digital aspect of it. So I think it's, Disney, they have a lot of IP and they have a lot of, presence in real life. And so it's natural for them to take what's real and sort of like link it to a certain extent to the digital space. And in my opinion, I think that's a terrible idea. And so that's just one of the things that Iman and I were talking about. But the real discussion that we were having was, I asked Iman, in the future, 20 years down the line, right, metaverse is as prevalent as Twitter and social media. What sort of expectations are you going to have about the metaverse when it comes to like you're looking around, and do you expect everything to have like an actual owner that you can go and verify on the blockchain, or do you have some other expectation, right? Do you have some other idea or prediction about what the metaverse is going to look like 20 years from now? And Iman, to summarize your point, and correct me if I'm wrong, you think companies like Disney and like these bigger corporations, it won't be so much about NFTs and scarcity. It's just going to be about selling just digital content functionality for companies like Disney. Do you want to elaborate on your thoughts there?
Yeah, all I was just trying to say is the reason why. I mean, scarcity is always going to be important, right? But I think scarcity has become like a center point of focus, like in today's NFT world, because it serves as like a good pillar to stand on to like, portray value from like, from basically a starting point of zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Disney doesn't have like that difficult task of like, trying to come up with some sort of like, value perception. Disney's Disney. So I don't think they're going to be, once they enter the metaverse, they're not going to be here trying to like release the most exclusive of content. They're going to be here trying to service like as many users as possible, just like they do in the real world. The business behind Disney is to serve the masses, right? And all of us who grew up in this physical world, we've consumed their product, which is their whole damn thing. The movies they make, the cartoons they created, all the different IPs they eventually end up acquiring, Star Wars, whatever the fuck. This becomes Marvel. Part of the umbrella of Disney, right? All I'm saying is like in the future, what we know as the metaverse today is going to mimic a lot of what we already have experienced in our life. It's just going to be big ass corporations such as Disney selling us that product on a daily basis, right? And no longer are we going to be like debating the scarcity of things, right? But that doesn't detract from the value of NFT technology or blockchain at all. Like it's still a necessary component to this, right? It's just not going to be the focus, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess where we disagree is where you say that the scarcity is not going to be an important component, like in the future for a lot of these, big corporations. I think scarcity is like a foundational piece to blockchain and like NFTs as a whole that I think corporations like Disney can leverage the scarcity component and form new types of business models as a result of that scarcity. So ultimately, like, I don't think it makes sense to have an infinite product as an NFT, because what's the point of adding blockchain technology to that infinite aspect to it, right? So why would you need to prove that you own something that's worthless on the blockchain versus something that is more, scarce, like, some item that's, one of 10,000 or one of 100,000, which if you consider Disney, one of 100,000 is still pretty rare, right? There's millions of Charizards out there. They're all valuable, right? So
Charizard is not a Disney product, dude.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, even though that Charizard is desirable, right? The Charizard first edition is desirable. There's millions of them.
I don't think there's millions of first edition Charizards. I don't know. Maybe there were at some point, but a lot of them have, disappeared over time. But yeah, okay.
But my point is, but the scarcity aspect of it will play an important role even in the future with these large corporations, as you know, that's a fundamental component to blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess ultimately it's like they would design new business models that leverage that component of blockchain is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, like what's already been said, many times in the past, it's just a matter of, I mean, this is an ordeal. This is of great interest to us, I guess, because we are developing a marketplace, right? A storefront for people who can create digital content that's deployable in the metaverse, right? That's what MetaZone does. So we have to like stumble onto these type of like scenarios and dissect them and try and, I don't know, like almost figure out like strategies on behalf of even these mega corporations like Disney. What would we do if Disney was on our doorstep?
Exactly.
Right. Like, hey, we want to make metas for, Decentraland or Vault Hill or for the Rovi Matrix, whatever other metaverse that might be plugged into our ecosystem in the future, right? We recognize you guys have a very cool ecosystem, right? We want to create products for that. So what is it exactly that they're going to do? Right. So there's tons of angles to that. I don't think there's any definitive right or wrong answer. Like this, it always ends up getting to this point, right? It's so early. There's no like concrete like definition or standard to anything yet.
Yeah, but they're coming to us because they're asking for our advice, opinion, strategy. Like, what would be our response? And I don't think our response would be like, hey, you could sell this digital dispenser of like Mickey Mouse backpacks and just put an infinite cap to them as metas and, sell them at $10 a piece. Like that would be our advice to Disney, would it?
I think it could be. Why not? Why is that not advisable? It still serves a specific demographic who wants to own, part of Disney in the metaverse. I don't see how that's a bad thing.
So let me kind of define what I was saying. So think of the functionality of dispensing this digital backpack. I don't think we would tell Disney to sell an infinite of those, right? There would be some sort of cap to it. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, okay. So set the cap. What's the cap? Like 10 million? That's the cap. And because there's a number that you can like, check Etherscan and like verify, like this is the max amount. Like all of a sudden, okay, now this is worth buying. Only because there's a cap, right? Well, that's what you're proposing.
Well, I wouldn't say 10 million. I would say more like 25,000 at most, if at all.
25,000. See, that's the problem. Yeah. Alan just said this may be unpopular, but the value of an NFT was zero utility of subjective. So
it's true.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, but I imagine that Disney's so large that they could sell 25,000 of anything. Whether it works or not, whether there's function or not. And so I think that's what we're discussing here is if Disney could easily sell 25,000, why couldn't they easily sell 1 million or 10 million? And so why would you put a cap on that? That's your argument, I understand, but I think if you're going to leverage blockchain, you got to put some sort of like scarcity component. Otherwise, use some other technology.
So somebody, Maximus Cryptos X, dude, he's got Disney collectibles sitting in his wallet right now.
Okay, let's see.
C-3PO, Timon and Pumbaa. Yeah, dude, these are very recognizable, Disney IP. I'm assuming this is part of your Ecomi collection, Maximus. Is that true or not? So, I mean, what's the... they're all common. So, yeah, I'm assuming whatever sales campaign Disney went through on that platform is, since they're listed as common, most likely that implies some type of, max supply of some kind. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, Vive. There you go. Yeah, so Vive has a direct plug into this Disney world, right? So if you're looking for verification of your assumption, Willis, like that's it, dude.
Well, check out that. So hold on. I think, today what your argument, Iman, is saying that today it makes sense to like make everything more scarce because it's early days of crypto. But what we're talking about is like 20 years down the line, scarcity is going to be just one of many aspects.
It's going to be less regarded as like a part of the value proposition. I think yeah, going back to Alan's comment, whenever utility becomes much more of a factor of value to digital assets, it's not necessarily so much about, what mint cap exists for this asset, right? It's more so, the actual functionality of the asset, the marketing esteem of the creator who made that asset, right? Sure. Like the branding potential of it. All these things are going to factor in more than the mint count. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right now, it might not feel like it because right now we're still in this early NFT phase that where like the art sector pretty much kickstart all of this, right? So art largely is a very non-utility sector, right? There's not much utility to art. So, value has to come from somewhere. And, making these things scarce is a good way to, get that started.
Yeah. And ultimately, I guess my point is to kind of like cap things off is that if you don't need any element of scarcity, meaning you're trying to sell like 100 million items, digital items, you don't need blockchain for that. You could just sell.
But you do, because if you don't have an NFT, platforms such as MetaZone will not recognize it as an asset that you own, and therefore it is not metaverse enabled. It cannot become a meta, right? Yeah. Without that blockchain identifier. Doesn't matter like if a gajillion exists, the fact that you have the rights of ownership of that asset enables you to deploy it through our platform. And we're not going to be the only platform that has this type of like, applicability to it. This is going to be, common in the future. So scarcity has no impact, like as far as like whether or not something should be on chain or not, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, the ERC 1155 protocol would have never been invented,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like when you boil down to it, you and I agree that 20 years from down the line, when we're running around in the metaverse, in multiple metaverses, we will know for sure that every piece of content that we're running by or running on or whatever it is going to be digital assets that are owned by somebody, and it's going to be provable. And so I guess ultimately, I think we're discussing whether or not it still makes sense that scarcity is like a fundamental component to everything.
Yeah, Wordsworth and Co. Nev. Yeah, this is us. Because we haven't recorded like a legit podcast in months, this is like our angst spilling into the community call, basically. This is evidence that we really need to get back onto that rhythm of just venting our, everything out on the podcast. Dahlia, I had to break up the fight earlier.
Yeah,
dude. It was a lengthy discussion for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Chewy, welcome, dude.
Nobody was hurt during this discussion, though. I can promise you that.
Just a few chickens. Just a few chickens.
It's all very productive arguments.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, we got the first question. How can we get the Pope? I still don't get it. All right. So, having said that, let's give away some Popes. All right. Okay. So, same process before. I'm gonna at MetaZone bot. You're going to send a direct message to this bot, and the password is, I'm typing it in. The password is WebSocket, all lowercase, one word. So DM the MetaZone bot, WebSocket, go through the verification process, and those of you who can't get it, it's because you don't have an asset. To get an asset, jump into Decentraland, go to the tower, and jump into the Corona Zombies game to get a free asset. And then let us know if you guys actually receive the Pope.
Yeah, and by the way, Nev, you don't have to pick a side, dude. We're both wrong.
No,
we're both wrong. We're both guilty until proven innocent, but we're both incorrect.
No, we gotta pick sides, right, dude. Basically. We have to pick sides. This is red versus blue.
Dude. No, dude, we're not about fractionalizing our own community, dude. That's the worst thing we could do. But we appreciate you guys, listening to us ramble. And yeah, I mean, if you have a stance of your own, we definitely want to hear it. United we stand. There you go, Green Shipper. That's what I'm talking about, dude. No matter what, if we have differing opinions, dude, whatever. It's part of the process of like figuring things out.
Yeah.
All right, people are getting their POAPs. It looks like, right?
It's bloody funny on the podcast. So yeah, dude, we need to get back on that horse.
I know. Very real.
Bob Lorian, he's poped up. Greenshford poped up. All right, man.
Hey,
Everybody's
good stuff, guys.
Everybody's getting poped.
Wait, so that was the bot. So the bot's working.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, before the call, the bot was not working, so
yeah, it was.
We had a backup plan just in case, but it's working now. That means good news is probably coming then on the WebSocket front, most likely.
Okay, let me go to man. So one thing eventually we'll do is we're gonna start translating everything to multiple languages, because you know what, we've been, I don't know if you guys have been following our social media, but there we go. Thank you, Dahlia. But we've been showcasing a bunch of creators, and many of them you have English as a second language, and so I found that to be, I don't know, not so much surprising, but I find it interesting that a lot of our creators are, speak a primary, another language, primary other language, and so I'm thinking a lot of the interactions that we're getting from MetaZone is probably not English as a primary language. So that's something we need to investigate as well.
Yeah, I guess most of you guys in the chat wouldn't be listening to us if you didn't know what we're saying. I mean, I could be wrong.
No, you're definitely wrong. There's definitely a few in the chat who don't understand what we're saying.
Really?
Yes.
No, 100%. Man. Now I feel bad.
But then again, they're here for the popes, so I get it.
Okay. Well, POAP is here, lads. Hopefully you know what to do. Get your POAP now. Yeah, you're right. I mean, of course, yeah, crypto it's a global phenomena. It's not localized to any specific jurisdiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they just hear the word Pope and they go, yeah, pretty much. I mean, the quality in our popes is one thing, but I think the quality doesn't really matter for a lot of these popeaholics.
Yep. Chewy, he can't understand y'all unless it's free. So Chewy's only here for the free goodies, dude. Yeah. Chewy, you're definitely banned from the giveaway, dude.
Yeah.
Just kidding, dog. Stick around for the giveaway, dude, in case you can get some free goodies. Speaking of that, we should do it in about 10 minutes or so. Yeah. But I guess to reemphasize what we started with is, why you guys are all here is for the Rovi, progress and updates. So again, WebSocket server is the keyword of the week, really of the month, right? WebSocket. Are we overhyping like this whole WebSocket thing? Like, is there any other way to describe it other than just saying WebSocket, all the other, like every other word?
Shared experience. That would be the other way.
Shared experience is another good one.
Well, I mean, WebSockets, it's important. I mean, when you play a game online, the most dominant form of the way you play is through a WebSocket server. So.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. It's like, how significant is the terminology of WebSocket, right? Because I'm a non-technical minded person. I'm sure a lot of people don't understand the technicalities of what the hell's a WebSocket, dude.
Yeah.
Sounds like a freaking anatomical part of your body. Like we all got sockets in our, skulls and stuff. All right. Yeah. So, but yeah, for me, the key word is shared experience. That's for me. I understand that, right? If you played MMOs or like any time a video game in the past, in my opinion, the best ones were the shared ones where there's like multiplayer aspects to it, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Sorry, I'm reading like some of these prompts that I'm getting from the live stream here. No, but I totally agree. The shared experience is fundamental. Like if you played Ice Poker, Corona Zombies. And then let me think. I don't think Ethermon has WebSockets yet enabled. I can't remember, but I want to say that for a while they've been working on it. But I don't know if it's live yet. But yeah, Corona Zombies, you jump into the PvE, PvP, you can see each other like in a different context, right? Like for example, in PvP and PvE, you see yourself as snowmen. And then, and so eventually here with WebSockets with Rovies, you're going to see each other's Rovies. So that's going to be the kind of starting gameplay of like this whole experience. So a lot of the development has been like optimizing the WebSockets. So for like, if you joined, last Friday's call, we're going to be doing a tournament for Corona Zombies, and the winner would get one of Axelrod's vehicles, which are, I want to say like 300 mana. Yeah, something like that, or 500 mana. I can't remember.
Yeah, more than that. Yeah.
So this is a pretty valuable prize, and so when you play that game, you're going to be connected to a WebSocket server. So this will be sort of like a precursor to the experience that you're going to see with Rovies. Obviously, Corona Zombies is a first-person shooter. Rovies is more like action RPG-esque type of a game. So yeah, that's the difference, but leveraging the same technology.
Yeah, so if we can't get that enabled for you guys within the next 20 minutes or so before the end of the call, for sure we're going to be activating or like reaching out to some tester guild members. Hopefully, as many of you that can participate. Essentially, just revisit the tower at some point in the near future, and let's see this shareable experience in action, because we need the testing of it. Like, we need to make sure it's clean so that we can progress to the next steps of, I guess, the foundational level of the Roviverse. Technical from a technical perspective, which basically is just as long as everybody can load into the metaverse as individual players and be able to visit these locations that have these holograms displayed. Mm-hmm. And see your own assets in action, as living functional beings within the metaverse. That's step one, right? And then we're going to enter a transition period into the phase 2 of, I guess, the Rovi development process, which is much more gameplay focused,
That's right.
From there. So having said that, we had like a brief conversation last week about, some little decisions we need to make as far as like ironing out little kinks of gameplay. So we're definitely going to need more contribution from you guys next week. I think we're going to do our first roundtable in a while, right? So Green Chauffeur Trey, you guys are welcome as always. But if anybody else wants to be part of that conversation, there's no pressure. I mean, it's just going to be this, but more of us, we need to hash out as a community, these little details before we begin like ironing out the gameplay aspects of the Roviverse, right? So,
and I think for this particular discussion, we want to focus it on the burn mechanics. I don't want to say burn mechanics, but more about like, does it make sense to have Rovies infinitely expandable, or do we institute some sort of like dismantling / whatever it is that we can come up with to reduce the supply of Rovies?
Yeah, because ultimately we want like a healthy, vibrant ecosystem, right? And like an economy worth participating in. Because as fun and cool as Rovies can be, like we want people who own these assets to still benefit from them, and people who operate these assets to also benefit from them, and want incentive alignment across the board, right? As soon as like all these individual pieces start to be miscued, like
yes,
it's reflected within like the economic portrayal of what's going on. So
yeah, for sure. Like
a lot of decisions need to be made like from a foundational level, but it's not like that's not going to be the end all be all of the Rovi economy. But we need to set that foundational level at least.
Speaking of foundation, another thing that you and I were discussing was whether or not it made sense to have like the idea of an infinite token. So that's what led into the Disney conversation, Infinity, right? So the idea is that I think it makes more sense to have a cap supply of a token that you're earning in a play-to-earn experience than having an infinite supply of that token. Because if it's infinite supply, there's very little reasons to hold on to the token. But if it's cap supply, that gives you at least one reason to hold on to it. All right, so Neb, she says, hopefully it's a live tournament, which it is live. You can actually be inside the tournament arena as a spectator and be in the middle of the firefight if you wanted to. And the cool thing is that I don't know if Oscar's going to implement this yet, but if you're a spectator, and for every hour you're going to be earning CZ tokens, and so you could just spectate and watch the firefight take place, and you're going to be earning CZ tokens as you watch. Let's see.
Yeah, I think if that ends up working and like, proving to be some sort of viable, I guess, earn mechanic, more than likely
Yeah.
it could be applied to Rovies as well, too. Some type of, spectate to earn.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know. We have these ideas like as far as like leveraging token economies, not just for games, right? Just even for social experiences. Like social tokens are a real thing, and they're going to become a much more prevalent thing in the future. So one of the main use cases of the metaverse is like the social aspect. So I don't see why there isn't a reason why like tokens can't be involved in this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's just like in a cap supply token economy, like what you're earning as a spectator won't be as high as the actual players, right? So
no, definitely not. But it's a way for like, somebody who's, building these type of social experiences to kind of like, reward their community and to build a stronger community with these tools. That's what that's what blockchain assets are. They're just tools that, can be leveraged to create stronger communities
for sure.
Organizations, right? So
for sure.
Definitely something we're playing around with. Okay, I don't have much time, unfortunately, dude. I think my computer's about to explode, or not explode, but die.
Yeah. Okay, so let's
just let me know in case I like black out in the near, within the next few minutes.
Sure. So let's do the giveaway. We're going to be giving away 3 Rovi accessory NFTs, and so thank you guys for hanging out with us as always. Let me just create this event here, and we'll be doing a giveaway in a few seconds.
Okay. Let's see. What else? Okay. Sounds like you guys are still working through the bot experience. Sorry if it's this is your first time. It's a little more difficult than usual POAPs. That's by design. Hopefully, once you go through the process once, that means you'll join us next week, dude, because we do this every week.
All right, the bot has popped. Go ahead and go to the giveaway channel and interact with that bot, and you'll be entered to win one of 3 Rovi accessory NFTs.
All right, good luck, lads. Chewy, let's see if your loose factory continues on, dude.
Laren Soul, one other stipulation about claiming a Pope is I think you need to do it on a desktop and not the mobile phone, like the mobile app. I think that's the last stipulation. I don't know if that's reflected in the Reddit link, Trey. If you could update that to make sure that people are on their desktop to claim Popes, that would be great.
Yeah, Alan, you're 100% right. The POAP ritual is kind of like an initiation.
Yeah.
Never thought of it like that, but it definitely is. If you're willing to go through this hazing of a process to get your POAPs, then you're willing to do anything, dude. You're one of us. You're a true metaverse fanboy / girl.
Yeah, the other thing is Trey Waters is right. The other thing is on the server, in this particular MetaZone server, make sure you go to your privacy settings and you activate or deactivate. Let's see. It wasn't the notification settings. It was the privacy settings. Let's see. What is it? It is activate. So allow direct messages from server members. Try my best. Yeah. Thanks for the patience, Subzy. All right. Looks like Iman has dropped. He's officially done. So he was right. His computer exploded. All right. So as we wait here, let's see if. Yep, he's definitely done. Let me stop the share. There we are. That way you guys can see me. All right. Well, looks like it's just you and I. And let's see. We have how many minutes? 7 minutes. All right. So make sure you go back to the giveaway. Make sure you've interacted with that bot. And I'm going to be flying solo for the last 7 minutes here with you guys. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. And yeah, happy to answer. But yeah, I mean, most of the development over the last couple of weeks were focused on the WebSocket server. Obviously, not a small issue to be working on. And pretty soon, I mean, Oscar said that he would have it today, but, complications. And so we're going to be pinging, I guess in the next couple of days, the Testers Guild. And so through the Testers Guild, the 70 of you who are participating are going to be actually seeing the shared experience with Rovies. So one thing I almost forgot to mention was that next week, I'm pretty confident I'll be able to send the Rovi wearables out to all Rovi holders right now. So we've made progress, and it looks like we're like an inch away from actually getting them issued. So sorry it took so long. It normally doesn't take this long, but that was partly my fault. Just kind of figuring out the process of getting a wearable issued. Not terribly complicated. So if you guys have experience with creating a wearable in Decentraland, it's not too bad. I think the setup is right. I think Decentraland ended up having to put a bunch of applications together, like using a forum to provide feedback, right? Instead of using Discord. So they had to concoct some process. And so if you're not aware of that process, you can kind of miss, several weeks of updates that they're wanting you to make. So, all right, so let's see. All right, Subsy, finally. Okay, cool. So looks like you got your popes. Alan, ready to test, Captain. Thank you very much, Patrick. I'm gonna flex that. Cool. Yeah, welcome to the Rovi gang, man. Yeah, so it's the same process each call. And the reason why we do this is because first, it's sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say required by the Pope team. It's not required, but they definitely want to minimize this what we're calling a Pope cartel, which is like an influx of people just collecting popes for the sake of collecting popes. And so what they wanted was some mechanism where people who, let's say, attend an event can get a pope, but they have to be, they have to meet some sort of stipulation, like they're on a call or, some sort of, force them to prove that they were actually present rather than just jumping around to collect popes, for the sake of collecting. So yeah, we call them the Pope Cartel. They were running amok for several weeks towards, I don't know, early this year, end of last year. And then the Pope team put a stop to that. So update, breaking news. Corv is saying shared experience Rovi spawning in DCO should be live tomorrow during the MetaZone community call. Hell yeah, dude. So yeah, every single week on Friday, we also have a MetaZone community call, which is focused on the platform rather than the Rovi game itself. So during the platform, we talk about all the creators that are making content for MetaZone and the metaverse. And obviously, we still talk about Rovies just because it's part of everything that we're doing here. And so Corv, the developer of MetaZone, he's saying that the shared experience is going to be live on Friday. So same time as today, and same place, same style, everything, same MetaZone bot, and there's going to be another Pope. And this Pope giveaway is sponsored by one of our creators here named Eric and Partners. And so I think, man, if I remember correctly, this giveaway is going to be worth 300 or 500 mana. So another huge giveaway for tomorrow. All right, so let's see. I'm kind of reading through the chat here. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Dahlia, for those details. All right, Subsy. Yeah, so the word on the streets is that I make the best popes ever. So consider yourself very, very lucky, Subsy. There has been yet a formidable Pope competitor. You can call me the Pope Master, if you will. Best dressed Pope in town, yeah. Laren Soul, there we go. Look at that. All right, we got popes. All right, let's do a little checkup on the giveaway bot. Okay, so in a minute, so make sure everybody goes to the giveaway and interact. You got less than a minute. All right. All right, here we go. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying the chat. So Iman usually sticks around, but he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got, I think he said like 40 chickens at his house. And so I guess they're preparing for the apocalypse over there. And I don't blame them. I'd be doing the same exact thing, but I don't think we can sustain, anything close to 40 chickens. So, well, I think eggs are on Iman for at least a couple of weeks. All right, I think somebody won. Let's see who it was. All right, winners. WebVR, Lee Mao, and Jay Summers. Look at that. All right, congratulations, guys. And let me just send a message. DM me your ETH address. All right, congrats. So yes, later on today, I'll be issuing those Rovi accessories to you guys. And remember, these accessories can be delegated to a Rovi, and then we'll figure out the best method to pay split the earnings based on that. So more details on that to come. But yeah, these are all revenue generating assets, and pretty soon we'll be testing this here in the next couple of weeks to months. Jay Summers, congrats. Lee Mao, there you are. All right. All right, so we can call it here, guys. Like I said, make sure you join us again. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be another badass Pope tomorrow. Exact same time. Iman will be joining us, hopefully, for the entire hour. And yeah, so hopefully we'll see you tomorrow and more giveaways. And yes, thank you guys for joining us again. And until tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.